way over 100, 200 clients so far, and that's a lot of clients.
Hi everyone, I have Nithin with me, who's one of my clients, and he's gone from making $2,000 in his business to making almost $7,000 in the first 30 days of working with us. And before I get into all of that, I would ask Nithin to introduce himself and speak a little bit about his business as well.
Hey everyone, my name is Nithin and I am in Melbourne, Australia. I was actually a nurse before I started this carpet cleaning business, and I have been working around 10 years, I would say, yeah, around about 10 years. Then I started this carpet cleaning probably with another company. It's a sort of franchise, but then obviously I would like to come out of a franchise and start something my own. So this is just a stepping that I started with a couple of months ago. And now that we have started probably just over 2 months, and it's going well so far. And the first 2 months have been way over our expectations, I would say. So he did a pretty good job getting all our clients and everything. All the advertisement has been spot on. So far, I'm a very happy customer, and see, here I am.
Can you tell us a little bit about how you went from nursing to carpet cleaning, Nithin? How did you get into it? How did you find out about it? And what made you think that this was a good, a viable option?
Well, shifting from nursing to carpet cleaning obviously was not a good decision. Was not an easy decision. It was a hard decision. Being nurses, obviously, we are supposed to be working shift. So probably a morning or afternoon or a night shift. And I have a small family, small kids, so I wouldn't really like the shift work, and it was not going well so much for us. So I thought I'll make the move, and I thought of a lot of ideas. Then I thought probably cleaning is always going to be one of those options that's available and needed everywhere, regardless of what pandemic we are in. So cleaning everywhere is considered as a vital part of business. So that's why I thought then I'll sort of specialize rather than just a broad spectrum of cleaning. So I thought carpet cleaning, obviously a bit more specific and sort of industry oriented. So I thought I'll step onto carpet cleaning and see what it's going to be. And obviously it was not easy when we started. So I started 4.5 years ago as a part of a company. Now I've started my own, only very fresh, but still was a hard decision, was a challenging decision, but I think by the looks of it, it's going on track. It is in the right direction. So we're just sort of steering towards success.
Okay. And how did you do any kind of research to see what's the industry like? What is the earning potential in terms of, how much you can earn every month and how you can, shift into your own business at some point of time? What was your research at that point of time?
Obviously, I started researched about how much we can make as a carpet cleaning business owner, and there was various answers, and obviously the median range was about 5 to 10 grand a month at least if we are doing everything right. So obviously we can't make that much amount of money being what we were doing as a nurse. So that was a good decision. So roughly about, anything from 5 to 10 grand a month. And I mean, not the total revenue, but something that you can keep in your pockets, probably a good idea as a business.
And what made you decide to go with a franchise or work with a franchise and go that route instead of starting your own business when you started off? And how did you find out about them?
A franchise, I thought probably a bit more stability, and I was not confident enough to step on my own. Mm-hmm. So it's a very competitive industry, carpet cleaning, and there's a lot of big players around. Mm-hmm. So probably not a wise idea to step as soon as you start. You're going to start on your own, probably a bit overwhelming. So I thought I'll start as a franchisee and I'll buy a franchise, and that company that I bought has been around quite a long time, and I thought it provides a bit more financial stability if we sort of pay the franchise fees every month, and sort of the work comes to you. You don't need to look for work as long as you maintain the client. So I choose the easy way, obviously, but stepping on my own is an entirely different game. So you have to find work, you have to service everything yourself, you have to do all the administration and everything, invoicing, everything yourself. Whereas the franchise, they do all the administration and you just provide work to you. They can go and service the clients, and that's pretty much it. As long as you do a good job, that's all it matters. But that was an easy way, a franchise, rather than stepping on my own as a business owner.
And are there any disadvantages or cons of going with the franchise? Because you spoke about the benefits, like they find the work for you and they take care of invoicing and all the paperwork and administration. Is there any working with the franchise and that people need to look out for when they think about that?
See, obviously, franchising is not for everyone. Probably every franchisee is different. The way they work, the way they operate, the way they handle things. Every franchise have a different business structure, obviously. So you need to sort of research what you need to be doing in order to buy a franchise. So the main con, probably, I would say, is, see, the pros, obviously you will get the work. Cons, probably you don't feel the same as you do everything yourself. You feel sort of binded to a contract, so you don't feel that free, even though you're free, if that makes sense. So
Yes.
but whereas if you are on your own, you can do what you like, you can do whenever you want to. So I think that's pretty much the main con. So you just sort of legally binded into a contract which you don't really like most of the time. But I think that's what it is with every franchise.
Okay. And would the earning potential, you were also sharing revenue with the franchise, obviously, which is probably eating into your profits?
Yes, at the moment we are in the busiest time,
Okay.
considering the carpet cleaning, because December before Christmas, everybody wants cleaning. So we get a lot of clients from the franchise. Also, we get a lot of clients our own right now. So it is a bit of challenging to service everything. We don't want any jobs missing out, but trying to service most of the jobs. But see, when it's get quiet, then that's what we are aiming to start as a new business owner, to get more potential clients to ourselves rather than focusing on the franchisee. So obviously my long-term goal is to move away from the franchise and be on my own and have somebody, someone's working for us as well. So that's a long-term goal as far as I'm concerned.
And what's your percentage of time that you're dedicating to your franchise work right now versus your own business in terms of the job?
I would say roughly it's 50-50 now. So so 50-50 now. So which is pretty good. Like I said, it's only been 2 months, and the first 2 months been doing pretty well so far. So touch wood, everything going on track.
Okay. And can you speak a little bit about your investment into your business when you were starting out, when you were starting with the franchise? How much money did you have to invest at that point of time? What kind of equipment were you looking for?
See, when I started off as a franchise, I already had the carpet cleaning equipments that I've already purchased before, because I was with another smaller company, but they were taking massive shares from the work that we were doing. So they were taking just about 50% of our total earnings as the part of the advertising campaign, and that's their profit. That's how they operated. So then from going to a franchise, even though that's a franchise, it's still a business model. So that's why I've choose to go with the franchise. Only payment or only expense that I had from a franchise point of view is the buying the franchise. So the franchise fees, that's about 25K initially. So that includes the whole thing that you would want to spend in order to start. Because I had all the equipments with me already, I didn't have to purchase anything, but obviously I have to have the branding done. Obviously I have to have the uniforms purchased. A lot of training schedules has to be done before we start, just to make sure that we are on the right track. We understand how this works. We understand the payment system. We understand the softwares that we use as a part of franchise. So there are a whole lot of things that we were learning initially before we started, but around about 25K was the expenses, I would say, as far as I can think.
Okay. And in terms of the jobs that you were working on, Nithin, was there any kind of a challenge that you were facing, that from the jobs that you were getting from the franchise, or what was your experience of those jobs at that point of time?
Sometimes, when you go with the franchise, because you are that franchise has been around, the expectations are really, really high. So you need to meet the expectations. And most of the time, the customers don't want to pay so much, even though we provide a high quality service, because the name's been around so long. So expect a lot with the less amount of money. That's the challenge that I have come across, because a lot of times people don't want to spend, but they would want to get a lot back, which is not going to happen all the time. Most of the time, we will try to keep the people happy, which is obviously customer service. That's a central part of the business. But sometimes, you do get clients that really have difficulty in handling the situation. So that's a, that's a part of being with a big brand. And obviously, when you start on your own, things are different, because you decide the rules, you decide who to service, you decide what to do. So mostly control is in your own hands. Whereas being a franchise, the control is sort of shared half.
Okay. And can you speak a little bit about your upselling process? Without going into the specifics of your price point, I know that your market is very, very competitive, and your price point is your entry level price point is a little low compared to other markets. But your average job ticket is still pretty good. So can you speak a little bit about your upselling process, how you upsell, and how do you bring up your average job ticket?
See, first of all, as soon as we walk in, we see things that needs to be done, or we will see things that can be done probably on the same visit or the next visit. So we would want that customer as a potential our own lifetime client. And that's the first thing we would think in order to upsell. Secondly, what we do is we will try to educate the customer in order to get that price point to a bit high, because obviously they don't want to spend a lot of money initially. But once we explain to them the process that's involved, that can be done or could be done in a certain amount of money, probably they're happy to pay another $100 or $200 on top of the price entry point, which is very low compared to any other markets, because it's very competitive. As I said earlier, very competitive. There are a lot of big players with smaller entry points, so we would have to be very competitive in terms of pricing. But as long as you educate the client, you make sure you do a good job, then obviously you do a sample. Say we walk into a house for a carpet clean. Sometimes the job's for $80, $100 that we quote or estimate over the phone. We go in there, probably carpet's in a bad shape, or the carpet needs a little bit of treatment stains, or carpet needs a bit of sanitizing or pet stains. All that factors we consider it, and we sort of try and educate the client to say, see, this is what you need to do, and if you want to do this, we can sort of add that to our service with the carpet cleaning. And we sort of push towards getting that price point to another 100 or 150 on top, without making the customers upset or irritated. So trying to keep that balance is very important. Secondly, like I said, anything that we can think, if they have tiles in the house, we will go through and ask quickly, would you like to have your tiles cleaned? Because it hasn't been, looks like it hasn't been done for a while. So probably most of the time they are happy just to have a quick chat and just measure and give them a price while we're there, rather than making another booking to come and do a quote another time. So which is having more success towards getting the job in a later time. Sometimes the customers are happy to do right then and there, so then we are lucky. So sometimes we get lucky, sometimes you just sort of push them a little bit and see what their expectations are. And if we can do a sample, and if they're happy with that, most of the time with the sample job, they'll be very happy, so they will book it straight away. So that's the way of upselling. That's what I have done, and that's what I've been doing since I started. So I think that's very important.
Thank you for sharing that, Nithin. Now that we've started running the ads, Nithin, what's your average job ticket or job price with the customers who are coming through the ads?
I would say roughly $255 currently.
Okay.
And that's very good, because we have been doing before, when I was with another company, I was actually doing, my job average was $60. Compared to that, that's almost 4 times over, so which is pretty good. Okay. And we managed to achieve that in the 2 months, 60 days. That's pretty good. So I would say we're doing the right thing and the right track.
That's good to hear. Coming back to your own business, Nithin, you're still doing it part-time and you're also doing the franchise work part-time. Uh, for your business, how are you getting customers before we started working together?
I was only doing a very less Google advertisements at the time, and I was only expecting to get probably about 5 to 10 clients a week maximum. That's what my expectations were, and obviously I was not having my expectations met. And I was with the agency that were not directing me in the right direction. They were not doing the right thing. They're not doing the right job. So obviously I was not happy with the results, but still I was just sort of hoping, this is going to be all right. So they're going to do a good job, and obviously in another 3 to 6 months time I might get more clients and more leads. It never happened. So that's hence I changed from them and moved on with you, Amit, and it's been a good ride.
So, if I remember correctly, you were making about $2,000 before we started working together, and this month we've made, or rather, the first 30 days we've made almost $7,000 during that period of time, and that was in spite of me pushing you to try a higher price point. And I remember we tried that for about 10 days or a little more than that, maybe 10 to 14 days. We tried that, and that didn't work out. What was going through your mind at that point of time? Because we ran the ads for the first 1 week and it kind of worked, and then I kind of pushed you to try a higher price point, and for 10 to 14 days that was not working. What was going through your mind at that point of time, and were you concerned? What kept you moving forward, to keep continuing with the ads?
See, I waited so long. so I thought 10 or 15 days or 20 days is not going to kill me. So I thought I'll try, I'll stick on to what I'm doing. And I just believe, everything's in the right track, and we just sort of trust each other and sort of push ourselves together. And I think that's probably important, considering we are partnering with another business, or to get another help professionally. So I think that trust is very important. As long as we maintain and keep it, that is very vital. Okay. That's the only thing that pushed me through, just hoping it's going to work.
Okay. And how many jobs were you getting before we started working together every month, Nithin?
See, with my own the agency advertisement through Google, probably I would say a month under 20 jobs maximum.
Okay. And
under 20 jobs a month.
Okay.
So that was, and still that 20 jobs I'm talking about, not they're just potential clients, they're not actual clients. So they can be, so that's the 20 leads or under would be the sort of average, I would say, a month, and which was not enough, definitely not enough. But like I said, I was with another company, so I was getting some work from there. It was sort of all right for me to push ahead. So I was sort of trying to develop this in the side. But whereas now I'm sort of half with the franchise and half with our own business, which feels good, which feels pretty good. So I can imagine if I am going to be on my own, it's going to be even better.
And what made you decide to work with me, Nithin? What made you decide to kind of reach out to me? What convinced you at that point of time?
I see a couple of client testimonials, and they were pretty impressed with the results. And I thought, and they were in the US, so they were nowhere near me. So they were in the US and I'm in Australia. So it's two different parts of the world. But still, I thought I'll reach out to you and see, if you could help, if you have any experience doing something, some marketing in here. So that's the only reason I've reached out to you and see, there's nothing for me to lose. I mean, it's just a message, and that's all it takes. So why not? So that's why I've tried, and here we are.
My other question is, during our first initial conversation, I asked a lot of personal kind of financial questions, about your business, what you're making and things like that. Were you concerned about, this guy I don't know him, I'm talking to him for the first time, and he's asking me all these personal financial about my business. Did that thought ever come to you, and how did you move beyond that?
I thought sort of financial understanding is equally important when I engage somebody professionally so that they can know what my expectations are, what my actual current situation is. So I thought it was pretty vital to know each other better rather than I give you a figure which is not unrealistic. So then it doesn't give you an idea. And, we are not transparent from the very beginning, then no point considering another business to engage with. So that is why I thought, I'm not going to lose anything even if I share something, because I thought it's at the end of the day, it's just business and that's all we need to do. Just trust each other and yeah, go ahead.
The other thing that I always face, no, I wouldn't say always, but with some of my prospects is that, people will come to me and they'll ask me, how much do you charge? And that will be the first question that they ask, and I take a long time. I ask a lot of questions about your business first. I try to understand where you are and what you're doing and, how things are going before I get to the price. Did that ever come to your mind that, I want to know how much he charges first before I, move ahead with any of these other discussions? Or what was your thought process during the whole initial conversation?
Obviously, see, everyone charges differently according to what their price is. So I knew obviously we have to pay for a service. I just knew we have to pay for it. I mean, it's not going to be free. So I knew it has to be paid, has to be done. But I thought, obviously everyone will ask and find out curious because everyone's curious to see what is he going to charge me. So if you're going to tell me I'm going to charge you $3,000 a month without even being starting the process, then I would say, oh, no problem. Don't worry about it, because it is unreal. So you need to have your expectations right. And as long as that expectations are met, I think that's probably the best way to go ahead.
How has your business changed, Nithin, since the time we started working together? How has your lifestyle changed? There must be some change in your business as well as your personal life. How has the ad campaigns and the results that you're getting, how has that impacted both of these areas?
Well, I would start with the personal life. I'm getting very busy. I've got 2 small kids. I don't have the time to spend with them last 2 months. See, it's good in one way. Only thing is that the business is getting more clients to us on a daily basis, and we are happy to service more and more clients every day. That is totally something that I was been looking forward to. Personal life, like I said, the time with the kids, which I know it's very important to me. And I'm sort of trying to manage both that to keep a balance. But at the moment, it's still early stages. I haven't got that balance yet. But I think this is the time that we have to work our asses off and see how much we can work and what's our next future is going to be, next year is going to be. So before Christmas or even up until January is the busiest months in Melbourne in terms of carpet cleaning. So I thought I'll push it hard, and my wife's been a huge support for me. So she has been, taking care of the kids as well. So I know she'll be there if I am not here. So that sort of pushed me along.
And can you speak a little bit about your experience working with me, Nithin? We had that rough time between those 10 to 14 days when we were trying different price points. And in general, what was your experience working with me?
See, it's been great, Amit. Like I said, I was with a lousy agency in the beginning. So since I started working with you, sort of those had a lot of movement in terms of business. So the clients have been inquiring a lot. We have been, messaging and communicating each other back and forth to many clients, way over 100, 200 clients so far. And that's a lot of clients. And I mean, you don't get all of them, but at least you can try to get most of them. So the way you respond and how quick you are, I think these are all the factors. But that 10, 14 days, I didn't really worry so much because, like I said, my expectations was not so high in the beginning. So if you set yourself a huge expectation, I think you would be stressing out to see what's going to happen. But I have sort of kept my cool and see, this is going to be fine. And I was just keep telling myself, this is going to be fine. I mean, 10 or 12 days or 15 days doesn't worry me. So that's what pushed me.
And what would you tell someone who's thinking about working with me and, if they're considering whether they should reach out to me or not, what would be your, advice to them?
Well, see, Personally, I would recommend Amit because I have had a good experience so far. And I hope we're going to have the same ride the next few months or few years, as long as I can, as long as we can. But see, you deal with the guy. He's transparent. He's honest. He will tell you what's going to happen. How to set your expectation, what to expect, what's coming, and what's going to happen. He even predicts. You see, he got so much clients, so he always follows up. So I think that probably pretty much a good communication in terms of two business engagements. Vital part I would say is following up and communicating well, which is happening here very often. So even though I'm busy, he will prompt me and asking to get things done. There are a couple of things that I have to do. I've been lazy or I have been too busy, but he always checks on me and asks, to sort of send everything in a timely manner. But he's nice at the same time. so as long as you do what he tells you, and I think results will come back to you.
And do you have any piece of advice for people who are new to the industry, who are thinking about getting into carpet cleaning? What would you tell them? What would your biggest tip that you would want to give them?
I think, see, if you have the right mindset and you have, just listen to your gut. I think that tells you everything. So regardless of what you want to do, who you're gonna engage with, you just listen to your gut, and your gut's always right. And most of the time it is. And you just listen to that, and as long as you do the right thing the right way, I think it will be successful at the end. You have to be hardworking. You have to have a lot of sacrifices in order to get your business moving. I mean, which is all part of the game, but we are all in here for a long game. So we are not here to stay just for a few days and leave. So we are here to stay for a while. So as long as we can do the hard working and everything that follows, I think it will be fine.
And we're almost coming towards the end of the interview, Nithin. But what things have you kind of learned, or what has been your experience during these last 2 months? You must have learned certain things about the business and about marketing as well during your previous tenure. And in the last 2 months, is there something that you've kind of learned that you think will be useful going forward? And how do you plan to kind of implement that in your business in future?
See, communication, like I said, is very important. Telling, say, for example, if you engage Amit, telling him what you need and what needs to be done, and keep on asking him questions that he will be happy to help. So as long as you get a right idea of what you're getting into, I think that's pretty important to conduct any business. So you deal with Amit, he will give you suggestions, but at the end of the day, you have got a lot of questions to ask. You make sure you clarify that. As long as he will clarify you, that I can tell you 100%. So he will clarify you. As long as it's been your expectations are met, you are happy. I think that's all it matters. And no point stressing, because see, wherever we go, it is not easy to conduct any business, because especially if you're starting from scratch like I am, it's not easy. It's never meant to be easy. But I think if you have the right mindset, if you can push yourself so hard every day, I think it's well worth it.
Right. So thank you, Nithin, for joining today. And I will speak to you during our next call. And I'm sure that people who've seen this video will find it useful. I think there is a lot of motivation that we can draw from your journey, starting from nursing to, being part of a franchise, and then moving on to starting your own business as well.
Yes.
Thanks.
Thank
Nithin.
you.
Have a great day.
Not a problem.
Bye.
Thank you, Amir.